What is up, my nerds? Welcome to the one and only Unvaulted podcast. I am your host, Squatingdog, but my neighbor calls me Johnny, and it's happened more than 5 times, and now I'm not sure I can even correct him at this point. Anyways, welcome to today's podcast. We have an incredible guest today. Everyone's second favorite condiment, Mustard Plays. How you doing?
Good. Wait, what's the first?
Ketchup.
Yeah, it's true. I prefer ketchup too. Don't tell anyone.
I know that will go bad against your brand. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah,
I'm really
no problem.
to have you.
Happy to be here.
I have known about your content for a pretty long time now and have used dozens of your YouTube videos to help me make my own creative maps. But I've got a few questions for those that might not know you. Why is your name Mustard Plays?
Great question. So my real name is Chad Mustard. And well, I thought long and hard about my name. Actually, naming a business, naming your channel is one of the hardest steps. And I had a lot of different names I wanted to go with, but I knew Mustard was going to be something that was of prominence in the industry, in the gaming industry, because of my brother Donald Mustard. And because I knew he was he was already kind of known really well through some of the other games he'd worked on. But with Fortnite coming up, I knew it was going to be bigger. So I kind of wanted to like ride his coattails a little bit. So I chose Mustard Plays. So people would, and it's caused quite a bit of confusion. People will often think I'm Donald, and my videos are like, Donald, what are you doing making YouTube videos? And I'm like, well, I have so much free time.
You could probably get away with some stuff, like just acting like your brother and just freaking out the audience. So I'm glad that you use your power for good and not evil.
Yeah, if I did use it for evil, my brother probably wouldn't ever talk to me again. So I don't want that to happen.
Okay, so tell us a little bit of what are you known for in the Fortnite community, and how did you get where you are right now?
So I mean, I've been in the Fortnite community basically since it came out. I started my channel a while ago playing actually other games. I started with Overwatch and I moved over to Zelda Breath of the Wild. I kind of grew a bit of an audience through Zelda, but playing a single player story game is hard to do like consistently. And so when I started switching to like the battle royale games, PUBG, H1Z1, and then Fortnite came out. And I kind of started playing the Save the World a little bit. And then Battle Royale came out and I just played that nonstop until Creative came out. And when Creative came out, I was like, oh, this is cool. But as I really started to get into it, I started to realize, all right, this is something really fun. I was a little bit burnt out on Battle Royale and was looking for something a little different, but it was still Fortnite. And it was also a community that was really small. Not a lot of content creators were focusing on creative mode. I mean, you'd have a few here and there that would play a map, but mostly there wasn't anyone that was really focusing on it. So versus in Battle Royale, there's a ton of competition. I'm not good at Battle Royale. I was okay. I was probably like, I used to be all right. I was probably on the same level as like Laserbeam before he started practicing. And then, but yeah, so I just wasn't great. But at creative mode, I felt like that was something I could be really good at, and kind of just started focusing in on that. And my goal was always to be like, I want to be at the top of the creative mountain, and we're getting there.
You definitely are. I mean, for those that don't know, Chad's YouTube has over 200K people subscribed there. You have a massive audience. So many people are looking to you for your opinions on creative, and like whenever there's something new that's added, you're always updating and letting people know. I feel like you got your pulse on it better than a lot of people that I've met. And I feel like before we get into all of that good stuff, I've got a question for you that I don't know the answer to. And I am so curious of what your fascination with Peely is, and why you use him in almost every video.
Oh, okay. So there's a number of reasons. The first reason is it's a branding thing. People start to know that skin is that person, right? So when you see the like the gingerbread man skin, who do you think of?
I think of laser.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Like laser beam. Or when you see Fresh's skin, I don't even
Hmm.
know the name of that skin. You know it's Fresh, right? So I kind of wanted a skin that instead of just because I used to just do random skins. I have a ton of skins because I've been playing since the first Battle Pass came out. I have all the Battle Pass skins, and I would just randomly choose something. But I was like, okay, I want to focus in on one skin and Peely. I love the like goofy skins,
Hmm.
things like Peely or like fish sticks or what. Like there's a lot of or like
The
the
derpy
ice
one.
cream. Yeah, the derpy one, like just like kind of crazy looking skins are my favorite.
Yeah.
And the problem with the Peely one, I almost feel like Peely was added in the game because my brother knows me. And here's the thing: I hate bananas with a passion. Like
Oh,
I can't stand them. Like they're like I can't if they touch if they're in a fruit salad, if they're in my smoothie, if they're in anything, it like taints everything. I hate bananas. And I
whoa.
always have since I was a baby. And so I my family always makes fun of me about it. Like my Donald's wife, she always buys me banana paraphernalia. She buys me like I like these little banana stuffed animals that smell like bananas and it's just like awful. And their kids think it's hilarious so they're always like, "Oh, I've got a banana" when I come over. And
Like
so I
shanking you with a banana when you come.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like Donald put it in the game just to be like, there's a giant banana in the game, and I was like, you know what, I think it'd be funny if that was like my main skin was a banana because I like the skin. I think Peely's funny. I love his like he's always getting killed in or like and thinks he's turned into a smoothie. He's he was blown up by Ryu and like so like I love Peely, and then also he has a lot of different variations of himself, which I so then I could still change it from Agent Peely to Bone Peely to Unpeely or whatever. So I
1000 or whatever its name is.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of why.
That's awesome. So I have the same affinity towards pickles. So if there's a pickle in my general vicinity, if my wife eats a pickle, I will not kiss her. Like
Yep.
it's that bad.
Oh
So
no, it's the same way. Yeah, if my wife eats banana, she has to brush her teeth.
exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah, good. I'm glad we have that same chemistry towards some weird item. Okay, so this is awesome. Before we get really into the nitty gritty of the future of Fortnite, I would love to send you through Hipfire. This is our quick answer game where it's all about gut reactions and forgetting about any NDAs you've signed. Are you
Okay,
Okay, so I'm going to ask these questions really quickly, and I need you to answer them just as quickly. Okay.
I'll try my best.
And in post, it'll have really cool music. So get
Okay.
excited about it. Here we go. What is your most popular nickname?
Just mustard. That's it.
Mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, or Chick-fil-A sauce?
Oof, ketchup.
3 people you look up to.
My brother Donald, my brother Jeremy, who also works at Epic, and my dad.
Give me a Fortnite season theme you want in the game.
Oh my gosh. That was a blindside right there. A theme I would want Nintendo. All things
Ooh, good
Nintendo.
one. What's your weirdest hobby?
Um, I like to beatbox.
Oh, create a holiday right now. What would you call it?
Hmm. Um, a holiday right now. We'll just video game day. We need a video game day.
That's amazing. New Peely variation. Go.
A peely variation. I would probably maybe like baked peely.
Mhm. It's the end of the world. What happens?
If it's the end of the world, we're all dead, man.
We're just dead.
We're gone.
Favorite creative map of all time?
Oh my gosh, that is hard. I would say probably my favorite experience is still one of my first ones playing the Dungeon Prison Escape by Wirt Andrew. Those were amazing maps, and that really opened my eyes to creative mode.
Boom. We're in a time machine. What year are we going to?
Hmm. Man, that is a tough one. I honestly, I probably want to go forward. I'd want to go like, let's see where we're at 100 years from now. So let's go to 3021 or not 3020. That's 1,000 years from now. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 2121.
Okay. What's something on your bucket list?
I want to go to Scotland. That's like my
Mm.
next like thing I want to do.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Would you rather have fingers as long as your legs or legs as long as your fingers?
Fingers as long as my legs, or legs as long as my fingers. I probably want fingers as long as my legs. Ugh,
You heard it here
that'd
first.
be hard.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
I hate loud chewing. People that chew really loudly.
Especially if it's bananas.
Oh yeah.
Who is your ultimate nemesis in life?
There's another Chad Mustard out there, and he played in the NFL. He has no idea I exist, but he's always at the top of the Google searches and stuff. He's my nemesis, Chad Mustard.
What make up an unfortunate superpower?
An unfortunate superpower. Extreme flatulence, I guess.
What collab skin do you still want added in Fortnite?
It kind of goes back to Nintendo. I would love to have like a Link.
Worst Fortnite skin in the game.
Worst Fortnite skin in the game. Oh man, I don't know. There's not really one that I like. Don't like. I mean, Peely. I'm just kidding. I don't know the answer to that. I don't really like care about the skins too much.
It's Zoe. It's always Zoe. What's your
All right.
childhood dream job? Or what was your
It
childhood
was I wanted to play in the NBA. That was it.
Okay, give me a nickname right now.
Give you a nickname?
Yep.
Oh man. Oh man, that's tough. I don't know. I don't know you personally well enough to give you a nickname.
Just give me one.
Oh gosh. This is you squat. I'll call you Squatting Banana. Why not?
Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
How do you feel this podcast going so far?
It's going good.
What's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal, an eagle.
You have to roundhouse kick one of the following people with no extra context. Which one do you go with? An accident lawyer, somebody else's president, or a literal child?
Someone else's president, like of a country? I'd probably say someone else's president. That's pretty easy.
Listen, listen to one song nonstop or never listen to music again?
Never listen to music again.
How much mustard is just too much mustard?
Well, I have eaten like spoonfuls of mustard before, just plain on my channel before, and I would say a tablespoon's too much mustard.
What is one thing Donald asked you not to tell others about?
Donald has actually never asked me to not tell people about anything. He just knows that I know. But there's a lot I've known about the game that I didn't talk about. For example, I knew where the meteor was going to hit. I knew it wasn't going to hit Tilted Towers.
What?
I knew it was going to hit in the middle of the map, like and destroy. Oh my gosh, I just forgot the point of interest there. The three hangars. Oh my gosh, what's it called? Dusty.
Dusty Divot or
Dusty Depot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to hit Dusty Depot and not Tilted Towers.
Well, congratulations, you made it through. Looking back, how do you feel? You called me Squatting Banana, so that feels weird, but
that's weird. Yeah.
But I'll take it. And it's a bummer that you have a distaste in bananas, so it hurts extra deep.
Oh yeah, I guess that does sound pretty bad. My bad.
Okay, so Chad, for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? And then we'll talk about your Fortnite story in a little bit.
I mean, I'm just a normal dude. I've played video games my whole life. When I was a kid, I told my mom I would make money playing video games. She rolled her eyes, just like she rolled her eyes at my brother Donald when he said, "I'm going to make a living doing art," because he was an artist.
Mhm.
And my parents were like, you can't make money doing these things," which was true back then. And now it's not so true. Donald's made a good career with his art, and I'm starting to make a good career playing video games.
Oh, wow.
And and but yeah, I'm a dad now. I've been married for 5 years, and I have a beautiful wife and 2 kids. And uh, I love my favorite thing to do is read. I love reading, and uh, and playing video games. Obviously, I have incorporated video games into my work life. So when I'm not working, I usually don't play video games as much. Um, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. I don't know if you want to know anything else.
That's great. Congratulations on your 2 kids. So what happened? How did you end up getting involved in Fortnite? Like what's your Fortnite story? How did we end up here? I'm so curious.
Well, I mean, it helps that my brothers were working are they work for Epic, and
Right.
at a high level, right? And when I was playing, like I said, PUBG and H1Z1 back in the day before Fortnite came out. And I would talk with my brothers about, hey, there's this battle royale game mode is so fun and addicting. And right now, it's, I mean, both of those games at that time were fun, but in a rough state. I mean, H1Z1,
Yeah.
you couldn't even blink without getting shot by a hacker. And PUBG was just good, but not great. And I was like, whichever AAA game maker jumps into this first, is they're going to make a killing. And
Mhm.
they agreed. And that, and soon after Fortnite came out, or Fortnite Battle Royale came out, Save the World was out. And I like Save the World. It just it didn't really grab me. I'm not as into the huge like survival games. And Fortnite Save the World had a great audience, but it didn't really grab me. But Battle Royale, once it came out mixed with the building, I was just like sold, because I was already sold on Battle Royale. But then throw in the building, and I really like the art style of Fortnite,
Mhm.
and that's a little bit more. I love that they can play around more than other games where you can have a giant banana running around next to Batman, next to a GI Joe looking guy, to I don't know, a pancake, a guy that has pancakes on his head. It's like that's one thing I love about Fortnite, is how fun and like unique it is. And so I kind of felt that at the beginning. And it was just addicting. The battle royale was addicting. And then the creative side of things, that really like sold me, because it really helps me to I'm a creative person, and
Mhm.
and sometimes when you're just playing someone else's creation, you don't really grow. You're not growing as an individual. You're just kind of like consuming. Versus, I love the creative side, where I'm like growing, I'm creating, and then letting other people play my creations is something that I can do forever. Like, I can't play battle royale forever. I just can't. But I can create. I can play with Legos forever,
Yep.
because it's like it's the endless toy, right? And that's what creative mode is.
That's awesome. So you kind of answered this a little bit, but there's a difference between like this is a hobby, right? And then this is like going into content creation. Um, I know you have a huge audience of people that love your content on YouTube, not alongside the content you're actually creating.
Mhm.
In your example of building with Legos. So what got you into like turning this into from a hobby into like I'm gonna be a content creator?
Well, it was actually, so it was when I got married. This was a while ago. And so I went to college, and I was working full time, and I had a lot going on where I just didn't have time to. My goal was to get married. I wanted to get married and have kids, and but still have an awesome career, be, do well in school and be able to pay my bills. And then there's video games as well. And which I loved, but I knew I had to cut something out. And so I said, I'm not playing video games until I get married, right? Like that was my goal, was like, I have to have a social life. If I'm playing StarCraft every day, or or World of Warcraft or something, then I'm never going to get out and go on a date and like socialize. And so I said, I won't do that. The problem was I didn't get married for a long time. Like it just took a while to find the right girl. It was like 13 years. And so I didn't get married until I was like in my early 30s. And then I was like, well, I want to get back into gaming now. I found her. But the problem was my wife is like, she hates video games. And so
Oh,
she's like, I'll never marry a guy who likes video games and who likes sports. And I love both of those things. I'm like obsessed with sports and obsessed with video games. But I told her, I was like, okay, look, I'll get back into video games, but I don't want to do it just as like, here, I'm just going to play as like, on my own hobby free time. I said, I want to get into it to learn more about stuff for because I have another business that I run as well. That does marketing and social media. And this, I was like, all this stuff from learning about YouTube content creation will help me with my clients. And also I can earn some money playing video games. She's like, okay, if you do that, then she was cool with it. So that's why I was like, I want to play Overwatch. So I got to do it and stream it. And then it was like, oh, because Zelda came out, I got to play that. So I got to stream it. And it turned into something that's like, you think I play Fortnite or Fortnite Creative. I don't really play Fortnite and Fortnite Creative. The game I play now is YouTube. That's the game I play.
Right.
And it's a different game that people don't really know a lot about. It's tough. It's the hardest MMO RPG out there.
Totally. And I mean, it seems like it's paying off, right? You've had it for 4 years. Your YouTube
Yeah, about 4 years. It's still a stress. I mean, every video I upload, whether it's good or bad, it's like I don't ever like think I've made it. Like I've seen a lot of I see a lot of creators out there like, I made it. I finally made it. I have never felt that. Yeah, I've never felt that. I've always felt like this could go away any second, and like I've got to make sure I'm doing the right things that's going to grow my channel. Otherwise, like if I stop the grind or I stop, leveling up basically, then it's just like other people, it'll go down to zero. So it's stressful, but it's also really fun.
It's a very content creation. I don't think people realize how hard it is, like to maintain all of the things that you were saying earlier. Like I can pick one of the three to get rid of. Like with content creation on, like it's really hard to turn that off. Like put it away, because it is a 24/7 endeavor and demands a lot from you. And that's it's crazy to I think a lot of people just need to hear that. You get a lot of kids that are really excited to be content creators and all that stuff, and they think they just press the big red button and then go. Like it just happens now. But it takes a lot of work, a lot of stuff behind the scenes, a lot of research, a lot of trying to understand trends and all that stuff. It's gnarly. But I in watching you grow, I've been super inspired by you and your content, and kind of just really truly trying to do something with excellence. I feel like is something that sets you apart from others. That I've noticed. It's like you could do something good and kind of like what you're saying, or you can do something great. And if you're going to spend your time at it, it seems like you're going to follow through on it being great. So
I'm going to try at least. I mean, it's tough because I'm putting stuff out every day. Like there are maps and things I build or videos I do where I say, man, I could do this so much better, but I have to get it out. And so there are a lot of times where it's hard to make decisions to say, it's good enough, right? And that is another thing I've seen a lot of content creators struggle with, is it's never good enough, and they just end up not putting something out or whatever. And once you're at a certain level, like Mr. Beast does that. He's like, I shot 10 videos that I haven't used this whatever that we spent $500,000 on, and he can do that because he's reached a certain level. But at this point where I'm at, I'm like, you got to make decisions and you got to get it out. And it's tough sometimes, and I'm like, man, that just wasn't perfect, but it's good enough, I guess.
So tell me a little bit about what you want to accomplish in your future, given this pathway.
I mean, okay. I mean, I definitely have answers to that. I want this to become, because I don't do this full time. I have other clients. I do other things for other people that have nothing to do with video games, and I would love this to become 100% what I do. Along with like, I want to go, and I love speaking like this. Like I love podcasts and things. I want to get on like the speaking circuit, go and speak at events and teach more people about how to do things, um, and alongside with my content creation, and yeah, just have this be a full-time thing where I can employ other people in it. I want to hire an editor. I want to, have like, I do have a business partner. I want to get him involved in this more as opposed to the other clientele stuff. I want him focusing on like the business side of things. And so I want this to become a full-time business, and not just like it's kind of like me right now, where I do everything from, I build all the things, I edit all the things, I do all the sound for everything, which or I do all the thumbnails, I do all the everything. I
Mhm.
market it all. I post it on TikTok. I run multiple communities and my Discord, and like all of that is like 100% on me right now, and I would love to start building out that a little bit more in the next few years.
Yeah, build a team around it.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. Okay, so a practical question here is what kind of advice would you give to others who like want to follow in your footsteps, whether that be creating a massive YouTube channel or strategically building in Fortnite? Is there anything that you notice that like is a characteristic that's important to pay attention to, that kids looking up to you could be like, all right, I'm gonna focus on that in my content creation?
Hmm. Yes. I mean, I've got a lot of advice, and if I would say if you want to be something, like if you want to make something like a career path, I don't know if that's what you're asking. Like, if you want to make, if you're wanting to do something for fun, make sure you're having fun. Like that's the first piece of advice. If you are getting into creative mode for fun, make sure you're having fun. Don't get caught up in all of the politics, all of the algorithms, and all of that stuff. If you don't care about making it a career or anything like that, make sure you're having fun. If you're not having fun, just get out of it, right? If you're doing YouTube for fun, do it for fun. When it's not fun anymore, stop doing it. Like there's too many people I see that started it for fun or just for fun, and then they kind of change it into a career, and then they hate it, right? They're like, I hate Fortnite now because it's a career and now it's a job and it's not something that I love anymore. And same thing with YouTube. Like you will hate it. I promise you, you will hate it if you have the wrong attitude about it. And but if you go in with the right attitude of saying, I'm using this as a way to learn and grow as an individual, I want to make this work. You're committed to never giving up, and to pushing through the hard times, then it works, right? So same thing with like creative mode. If you're building and you see someone else that builds something better than you, then figure it out, right? Like learn, grow, become better. Same thing with YouTube. This is the same advice. Mr. Beast says this all the time as well. His main piece of advice is get better every day, right? Just do something else a little bit better for every video or every build, or I mean, fill in the blank. Every dance, every football game, every time you shoot the basketball, or every time you take the math test or whatever, just do something a little bit better, and like that's when you'll start to see success. And it'll the game is not so much creative mode or YouTube, it's just yourself, right? It's improving as an individual.
That's amazing. That's great advice. Okay, you're hyping me up. So how if somebody's listening right now and they're like, dude, this guy's legit. Where can they find you? Like, what would be the best way to get connected with your content, get connected with you as a person?
Just look me up on YouTube. Just look up Mustard Plays. There's no other Mustard Plays out there, I don't think.
You said there was another one.
Well, there's a Chad Mustard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Not a
he's like,
mustard play.
he was an NFL player, and he is now like I don't know. I think he's like a real estate agent or something now. But But yeah, no, just look me up on YouTube. Just search Mustard Plays. I'm also on Twitter and TikTok, I guess. But YouTube is where it's at.
Okay, so then do you also have a code in Fortnite? And if you do, how can we support you by using your code?
I have sort of code. Like, don't use my code in the item shop. Use
Oh,
Squatingdog. So
no, wait.
yeah. So here's the deal. I can publish maps because I got special permission to publish maps, but I can't have a code because my brother works at Epic. And
Got it.
so like there's like some weird legal stuff, so I can't actually legally have a code currently. So don't
Got
use my code, use someone else's. Use a map makers or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So secret stuff, more secret stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to go into the meat and potatoes of the stream. Before we do, I've got a word from our sponsor and big news for those that are listening. You know how we've kind of been sponsorless for a while now? Well, guess what? I called Tesla and asked to talk to their manager, and boy, did I do something that I may never regret. And guess what they told me? They looked me in the eye and said, sorry, we're not doing any sponsorship opportunities at the moment. And I didn't take that as a no. I demanded that everyone who wants to drive a Tesla should drive a Tesla. And they were like, anybody can drive a Tesla. All you have to do is test drive with us. And I said, fine. And so you're welcome, podcasters. Today's podcast is brought to you by the power of knowledge. Drive safe and have fun trying out your new Tesla. As we go on to Fortnite Creative, we're going to talk about the future. And how do you feel about that topic, Chad? Like, do you think we can tackle this topic?
I think we can tackle this topic. I think there's a bright future for Fortnite.
Okay. So my first question to you about this. What is the future of Fortnite? And it seems like the internet keeps saying dead game. So how do we get that out of our system?
Well, I don't know if you've seen it. I did a video recently that says Fortnite is not dead. And there are a ton of people playing Fortnite still. Like if you look up the concurrent players, and people are really confused about what concurrent players means. They always think that means like that's how many people play in a day. Like right now, I see on your stream there's 170 something people watching. That doesn't mean that you only had 170 views throughout the stream. It's like thousands of views throughout the whole stream. And so there are literally tens of millions of people playing Fortnite every day still, even 3 years after it's been out or however long it's been. And so that is huge. I think Fortnite has a unique position where it's on so many platforms and it's free, and it got in this market before anyone else. And it's also got an art style. Excuse me. Got like a frog in my throat. It's got an art style and a rating that everyone can play and is like cool with, like even adults to kids, and that mom and dad can look at and say, all right, you can play Fortnite, as opposed to something that's a little bit more violent or realistic. So I think Fortnite is uniquely positioned in that way, and it's just really fun. So I think it's not dead, and in that aspect, it also does. Like there's a ton of players right now, but also it engages the community in a way no other game does. And what I mean by that is like the storyline, the events, the new seasons, the battle pass, the way it's all works together with the new skins coming out constantly, the new the map constantly changing. We don't this really interesting, mysterious story in the background that is always unfolding. And gosh, the story, we've just got little tiny drips of this story through the last 3 years, and there actually isn't that much that's happened, but it feels like this huge universe that is connecting all of these other universes. And it's just this, I think people, even if they don't play the game as much, they still want to check in. What's going on with the story? What's the new collab they're doing? What's the new stuff? What funny, goofy thing did they just come out with? They came out with cows. You can bounce around on a cow, or alien ships now. Oh, that's cool. I'll go back and play for a little bit. Like I think they do a great job of retaining players and then bringing players back And occasionally, it might not be to play every day 24/7, right? Which you should never play like that, guys, by the way. It's just not healthy. Um, but yeah, so I think Fortnite does that better than anyone else. So it's not dead, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so um, my question to you, I feel like creative and VR players, there's this interesting nature between the two of them. How is Fortnite VR connected to creative? And also, why is that important to have both in this ecosystem when we talk about the future of Fortnite?
Okay, so I guess the first question is, how are they connected? Um, I think it's been a bit of a rocky start and transition for creative mode and battle royale together. I feel like creative mode came out, it was a fun little like, oh, well, we'll just see what it is, and a lot of people use it as just like a practice arena kind of thing. And there's a few other people like Scissors got into doing some death runs, and there was a few things like that. And then of course there was the core community, small community of creators that were building maps. But I feel like generally the battle royale audience didn't really grab onto creative mode at first. But I feel like since it started growing, they've started updating creative mode a little bit more. They started integrating maps with in the like main home screen with LTMs and things like that. Versus, and also battle royale, like Epic is doing their own LTMs, like the floor is lava or the one shot stuff, or whatever. All the like the agent stuff they did back in season, what season was that? Chapter 2, season 2.
Such a great season.
Like, yeah, where they had all of the like fun Ghost versus I don't even remember. All of those fun little LTMs they did, like all of that. Like, I think that is a way they started training the battle royale folks to say, hey, there's more than just battle royale. There's also these other game modes, other maps, things to play that are fun and you'll love it. And it still has the same mechanics. It still has the same feel that you're used to. And I think Fortnite is slowly getting to the place where people are playing. There's actually quite a few players in creative mode. I mean, you'd be shocked to hear some of the numbers these maps are played. Like, there's some that have over hundreds of millions of plays. That's and wild. And tens of millions or whatever. Even like I have a map that was just a piece of junk. It was not a good map. It was a pretty funny map, but it has it has like 1.2 million plays. Wow. And it's never been featured. It's never been it's never been front and center on Fortnite's homepage or anything. It's just people are out there playing this. And now to take those numbers, like even some of the top games on Steam or out there that are being played don't get that many plays.
Right.
Like, that's like there are maps. The map I spent 2 hours on is getting more plays than some of the top games out there. That's and wild. which is ridiculous. And so creative mode is in a very interesting space where people still don't, it's still really underrated in the Fortnite community. They're like, oh yeah, battle royale first, but a lot of plays, I don't really know what the percentages are, but I think it's pretty high. If you were to take the Fortnite community and you say, okay, here's all the battle royale plays and here's all the creative plays and here's all the save the world plays, and you put it all together, a large percentage of that is going to be creative mode. I mean, the biggest percentage is going to be battle royale, but I don't think creative mode is too far behind that in the percentage wise who's playing it. So I feel like there's been this slow transition from Fortnite's just a battle royale game, even though it was Save the World first. Like, it's this battle royale game, and it blew up, and now it's kind of starting to keep its player base is still wanting to play Fortnite, but they're also playing these other game modes that are really fun. Whether it could just be a box fight or a 1v1 that's like feels like Fortnite, or it's something totally different. It feels like Counter-Strike. It's a search and destroy map, or it's an adventure. You go on this big open world adventure now and have these crazy experiences. And then, oh, that was fun. I want to go back and play some Battle Royale. And you can just jump right over to Battle Royale. And like, yeah, I think there is a change coming to Fortnite in the next year or two, where you're going to start to see all this melt together a little bit more. I think they tried to
Yeah,
do something more with Party Royale.
yeah,
Like that was kind of the first like glimpse of like, I know a lot of people were scared at that time when that came out of like, are they trying to replace creative mode? Are they just going to do it themselves? But they just didn't execute it quite right. I think Party Royale is a good theory in theory. Maybe execution wise, it could have been a little bit better. Um, in like bringing games, the maps out there together mixed with the battle royale, you could just go and hop in it. Like I think there's a lot that could be done better. But so what I guess what I'm saying is the battle royale folks, if you haven't gone into creative mode recently, you should go in. Like just jump in it and look around. You'll be surprised at all of the fun competitive maps you could play, but also just the fun mini games and variety games and things that you'll be shocked. If you haven't looked at it in like a year, you'll be shocked at like the progress it's made. And I really do think Fortnite, that's kind of the future of Fortnite, is battle royale is only going to have legs for so long, right? It's
sure.
only I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a year or 3 or 10. It's only going to have some, it can only last for so long before it's like, all right, we got to focus on something else. And but
And why
creative mode,
is that? Why would you say? I mean, if you've watched any part of the gaming industry, you know there's always an games tend to have a cycle, right? They tend
yeah.
to eventually slow. Not in the sense of World of Warcraft players are still playing World of Warcraft. Like they've been playing for so long.
Yeah.
But what is as a developer of a game? I'm sure the fear is eventually people will get burnt out. And historically speaking, there are certain seasons that people like in the BR, and there's certain seasons that they don't. We see when I chat with people, a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I took a break this season, yada yada yada." It's like this temperament of playing other games. Something else might be popular at the time, but then we see Fortnite still consistently keeping up with a lot of
Mm.
these like trends. So as a developer, if you know that about any game, you're probably trying your best to take stabs at like, okay, how do we make this work to where we can, keep this good thing going? But how do we also not burn out our audience? And
Yeah.
do you feel like creative was their answer to that? Or do we have something that is yet to come that will blend, kind of like what you were saying earlier, blend these a little bit more appropriately?
I think yes to all of that. Like I mean there's a lot you said. I mean
Yeah,
I think Fortnite's or battle royale in general, the battle royale mode, game mode is um it has very long legs. Like I don't think it's going to, I think battle royale will be around forever, right? Just
yeah,
like
mhm,
I think search and destroy, like Counter-Strike is a good example of something that's been around for a long time and it's still insanely popular. And that game mode I think will always exist in some form, and Counter Strike has done a great job of keeping their audience interested as well. I mean, it's also an esport that is a little bit more controlled space. So I think that's helped as well, along with like League of Legends, the MOBA like genre has really strong legs. I think one of the things Fortnite has that's a struggle is it's such a high skill gap
yeah,
between like the pros and the casual players. Like it's an insane. I mean, it's insanely different. Like if I go and play battle royale right now, it's really hard for me to get a win. I can get a win, but it's like I gotta like die a whole bunch of times to get into a lobby that's a little easier or whatever it is.
right,
And so I think that's one thing that's a struggle is the balance there, and that's what I think most people struggle with is like, I just can't keep up with this. It's not
mhm,
like League of Legends. You can jump in, and the skill gap isn't so massive there. Or same. I mean, I wouldn't even. I don't know if I could say that with Counter Strike or not, but it doesn't matter. I think the battle royale game mode will exist as long as Epic is still supporting Fortnite. It's gonna be there in some form, whether it's the number one thing or not. I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but it's going to always exist. And one thing I hope I don't know if this is the future of Fortnite, but I've always felt like um, Epic should be taking the game modes that are popular in creative mode and making it into a new mode. So right now we have Save the World,
Mhm.
we have Battle Royale, we have Creative. But if you don't, in case people here are listening don't know, Counter Strike was a mod, right?
Yep.
That was something fans made. It wasn't something Valve made. It was they took the Half-Life engine and they made a search and destroy map, and people loved it. And so then Valve was like, "Oh, we're going to take this and make it into a game called Counter Strike," and now it makes tons of money, right? And so they made a whole game off of a mod, and that's what creative mode is, just modding Fortnite. And like I'm surprised. I feel like Epic should have taken the box fight
Yep.
and made that into a game mode. Like made really cool maps, made really cool mechanics, and like made its own game mode. You have Save the World, you have Battle Royale, you have box fights, and you have creative mode. Like, and I feel like that's something they should have done. But it sounds to me like the way Epic is kind of thinking now is, well, let's just make it more accessible, creative mode more accessible, so that you can go and play all the box fights, or you can go and play all the search and destroy maps, or you can go and play all the adventure maps or death runs or whatever. And um and make it more of like YouTube, right? The YouTube of gaming
Yep. Yep.
is, because that is, YouTube is the number one viewed platform in the world. Like there's more views on YouTube than Netflix or anywhere else. And what if you can capture that in gaming? And I
Right.
think something like creative mode or Roblox or Minecraft or Core or something, whoever can like figure that out,
Yep.
like really figure it out first, is going to, that is the future, not just of Fortnite, that's the future of gaming,
Gaming. Mhm.
is user generated content. And if the advantage that Fortnite has is they have this massive player base that's constantly playing the game in Battle Royale. They have millions playing right now. Like there's probably 4 million people playing Fortnite at this moment. And some of them are going to say, I just lost that game. I'm mad. Let's go play creative. And so half of those players are going to go, there's probably 1 million or 2 million people playing creative mode right now. And they're playing these other games. And what if it was had a better browser system? Like, what if you jumped on Fortnite and you could, and it looked like YouTube, and you said, "Oh, here's that game. Here's that game. Oh, that was Mustard Plays. I'm following Mustard Plays now in Fortnite, and he's got 1 million subscribers in Fortnite, and I want to see his newest map or his newest game, and I want to see Wirt Andrews' newest game, and I want to see Squatingdog's newest, piece of content that he's put out on Fortnite and made it like a social network." What if Fortnite was more of a social network than even a game? And oh yes, Battle Royale is up there in the top left always. Just like on
Yep.
YouTube, you have your favorited your subscription feed
Subscriber.
or whatever. It's like it's always up there. You go play Battle Royale for a little bit, and then you come out and see what's new in the creative world. Like that is what I think the future is. I don't know how soon that's coming, but in a few years, someone's gonna figure this out.
Right.
And Epic has the opportunity and the fan base right now to really
Yep.
capitalize on it.
And what's really empowering about this to a content creator is that freedom. And I feel like for me personally, creative has been, a love-hate relationship, because you're limited. There's limitations to your ability to create, right? Just like if you build with Legos, you can't really put a boat in the water. Even though your imagination is like, I want this thing to be waterproof. So you have to do, unique things outside of Lego in order to make that thing happen. And what I love about what you're saying here is the ability to create with no boundaries, essentially. I think that's what we're all craving as creative people. We want to be able to build and imagine a space to our full freedom without being a game developer, and I think that's where we have this interesting pull and dynamic of what Fortnite's doing is this balance of like this ease of usability, right? Like this user-friendly, simple, creative toolbox that you have, and the range of infinite building possibilities. How do we find that middle gap in order to reinvent Fortnite, right? So if I create the Counter Strike of Fortnite, like, and then Fortnite takes it and runs with it, everybody benefits from that. Like it's a huge win, right? And so we don't know what Fortnite is capable of because we might not have the tool belt yet to be able to do those things. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of eyes looking at, Creative 2.0 in hopes that our ability to create uh, gets expanded to balance those two things. So I'm curious for you, like, what are the things that are kind of holding us back from this quote unquote sandbox experience to be able to create without those borders of, like limited data, like being directly connected to Fortnite and not being its own game, the lack of browser support, those types of things. Like, what are the things that are holding us back from like truly like, having the ability to create that?
So I think there are. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot here. So there's Epic has a tough task ahead of them here. There are insanely advanced map makers out there who, if you gave them all the tools, they would make like straight up video games that AAA video games out of it, and it would be amazing. But then there's other people that just want to go in and make some fun stuff and play with the Legos. And
Mm-hmm.
but if you gave them if you gave them all these tools, like it, and they wouldn't even know where to start. If you give them Unreal Engine and say, "Here, make
Right.
something fun," they would be like, what? Like, what is this? I don't even know where do I click? What do I put? What button do I push?"
It's like giving
Versus,
them Technic
yes,
Legos.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
they're like
But
in a Duplo phase.
yeah, but if you give someone Legos with, here's all the instructions and here's all the, all of the pieces that you need and where they're nicely stacked and stuff. That's what Fortnite Creative is right now. It's kind of like this simple. Someone's just banging on my door. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's like it's it's a very simple tool set that anyone can jump in and make a bunch of things off of. But it's even now it's gotten way more complicated. That's why I do, kind of one of the reasons I have a YouTube channel is to tell people how to use it.
Yeah.
But so that being said, I think yes, the future is Creative 2.0. But there are going to be restrictions. Like there's a reason there's a memory limit. One of the reasons we have this memory limit of 100,000 is so that mobile players can play, right? So there's
Right.
not huge lag. Like if you have these huge maps that have 2 million memory on it, if you get on it, it's just gonna like no, it'll be unplayable, even with the best rigs out there. And in general, that Epic has to navigate and like also educate the community about. And it's tough because everyone's like, why don't you just give us more memory, or why don't you just give us everything? Like give us everything.
Yeah.
We want everything so we can make whatever we want. But there's still so much to navigate in that. This is going to be it's like this is a long road. I mean,
Yeah.
YouTube, even let's go back to the YouTube example. When we first got YouTube, we did not have anywhere near the features we have. You couldn't go live. You couldn't. There was no statistics to see how your videos are doing.
Yeah.
There was no even revenue share. Like you can't earn money on. Like there's all sorts of things and steps you had to take that YouTube became what it is now, and it's going to become in the next 10 years. And same thing with Fortnite Creative. We all want everything right now. Like, and there's so many problems with Fortnite and Fortnite Creative. We could sit here and talk for hours about all of the issues that there are there, but
Yeah.
it's a journey. Like Michael Jordan, or maybe I should say LeBron James for the audience here. LeBron James didn't become LeBron James overnight. It was years of work. And same thing with Fortnite and Fortnite Creative. It's going to become something beautiful and awesome, and it's going to be the YouTube of the future or whatever. But it's baby steps. It's one update at a time. And so I think there's a lot of constraints there. So I think it's the long haul, but it's just going to be a journey.
It's a bummer for the internet because the internet isn't very patient.
No,
But I
it's
do
not.
think Tim Sweeney, I love his remarks and his vision. He's trying to build steps towards building what he calls the metaverse as an
Hmm.
open system in creating its own economy inside of this metaverse. I'd love to hear your thoughts and the effects of what this vision could be in a space. Like if we were to imagine it, what would that look like? And and can you explain a little bit of what the metaverse is?
Yeah, I mean, so the metaverse is Ready Player One. If you've ever seen Ready Player One, the the movie, that is the metaverse, right? A place where, I mean, it's the oasis. People all go into it, and then you can play any game you want. You can play a racing game. You can go off on a world and explore it and get a ton of things. And but there's a shared currency where you can buy your own things. You buy your own skins. You can buy your own cars and items, and that also is like it's even a cryptocurrency, if you will, that they can spend in the real world. And like that is like the dream of the metaverse is Ready Player One, and that's a good visualize. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Because if you love video games, you'll love
It's
Ready
even
Player
a
One.
better book, I'd say.
Oh, it's a way better book. If you're into reading, read it. If you don't love reading, go watch it. And I haven't read Ready Player Two yet, though, so I hear it's not as good. But
Yeah, I heard that too.
um, so that's what the metaverse is, and it's kind of ironic. There's like the guy in that plays the I can't remember his name. The like guy who what's that?
The protagonist in the
Yeah,
film.
well he plays the guy who made the Oasis in Ready Player One. Like the
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's he's very like similar to Tim Sweeney.
yeah.
And I Tim has this dream of making the metaverse a reality. And I think creative mode is his first real step into that, as well as the Fortnite like storyline. So you see what Fortnite's doing right now with all of the collaborations. They've collaborated with Star Wars, with Marvel, with Predator and Alien and animes, and I mean, there's so many collaborations we could name off right now. And
Yeah,
to think about how difficult that is, like there's Disney and all of the companies involved, Disney and Sony and Cartoon Network and all of these separate entities that are out there that have their own contracts, their own IPs. They want to make money. They don't want you using their image in the wrong way. And I mean, just
Mhm.
the effort that would go into these collaborations is monumental, and that's why no one's ever done it before, because it's pretty much impossible. But Fortnite has created a platform that is so popular and has this key demographic that everyone wants. You know,
yeah,
these young Gen Z people that everyone wants to get in front of. And they've created this space now where everyone wants in.
yep,
Marshmallow wants in, and LeBron James wants in, and everyone wants in, and they have the space now where that you can do it. You can do it in a safe space that's teen rated, and that can kind of pull it all in together. And so they've kind of started that side of it, like the business side of things, and now they're trying to bring in, okay, what's the user generated content side of things, because it's impossible for any one person to make the Oasis, right? Make
yeah,
the metaverse. It's got to be user generated content.
yep,
It's got to be YouTube. YouTube is the metaverse of content, like non video game content. Someone's got to make the user generated content, like metaverse of video games. And um, I think Fortnite is creative is the first one to kind of step into that. And if they can somehow, I think there's going to have to be some way to connect games together, like where like Halo and Fortnite and Call of Duty and all those things can somehow live together in peace in the same environment. I don't know how that works. Or it is just gonna have to be someone just completely takes over. Like if Fortnite just completely takes over, and it's more the EA can make more money now by coming in and making Fortnite maps than making their own video games. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way I could ever see something like that happening. But I think more so than that ever happening, it's going to have to be like we're creating a common cryptocurrency in the gaming industry that everyone uses, right? And that's how a metaverse could really happen, is if there's a common um, economy where it's like, yeah, if I earn or I earn e video game bucks anywhere,
Yeah.
I can spend it over in Halo, or I can spend it in Fortnite or whatever. And I think if someone can organize that all together, that's when the metaverse becomes a reality.
And I think, like, to your point of like these collaborations have not been done before, right? Like the feat of this is insane. It's insanity. Even Ferrari, which is like known for like saying no to like car games because they didn't want to see a dent in their vehicle, is in the middle of Fortnite getting blown up. Like the companies that they go after to like set an example of, hey, you should be a part of what we're doing here, is unprecedented. I love that they went after Ferrari first. Like the first announcement of any car, it could have been a lot of things, right? We see the collaborations with Rocket League. You could easily do a bunch of that type of stuff, but they have Ferrari like introing to the world Ferrari and Fortnite. Like that is wild. You have Nike coming in, and then you better believe if you're Adidas or another brand, you're like, I got I got to go in too. Like it's just that simple. It's like they go after the big guns, they try to make it work. One thing that I just don't understand, and I think just it's because of there's built different, is Nintendo. Nintendo, I just would love to see be a part of the Fortnite universe. And I wonder what those conversations have looked like, because they've happened. We've got Master Chief in here, we got Sony, we got everybody, from every console with the exception of Nintendo. It seems like there are special skins for, having the Switch, those types of things, but it hasn't gone like IP related at all. But I would just love, it's like, would be so cool to see Pokemon, like in Fortnite. Like that would be surreal. That would be
Yeah.
absolutely surreal.
Nintendo is notoriously possessive of their IPs, and they've always have been. I mean, even it was only like last year that they allowed YouTubers to use their content without getting like copyright strikes. And so it was, and that was like I didn't
Huge.
think that would ever happen with Nintendo. And to have their IP in another game that that isn't like exclusively on their systems, I don't know if that's I would never say it's never gonna happen, but that is gonna be, if that ever happens, that
And
is
we'll
gonna
know.
be through tons of legal conversations that none of us want to be in.
No, but it would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think like what's interesting about everything that you're saying is the metaverse seems like we're moving in the right direction, right? Like it just seemed like I love that Fortnite was like the first kind of company to be like, hey, we want people on Xbox to also play with their friends on PlayStation. Like,
Mhm.
let's make this happen. Like, they're the first to push that agenda and make that work, like, kind of almost force that upon the gaming community. Because us as a gaming community, we don't like the sense of being divided. We want to be able to play on a system that's most convenient to sharing. But this ability for it to be its own, like the YouTube of gaming, it
Yep.
really excites me, like this idea. But my question for you is like, so how do you mix that with what Tim is saying about creating your own economy, where like me as a content creator, if you search me up on Fortnite and go Squatingdog, like what's his new video, oh my gosh, he created his own little skin, and I'm selling that skin to you. Like how does that work within a system like this? Because it seems like Tim Sweeney really cares about content creators being funded through the platform as well. How do you mix the finance piece to the metaverse?
Well, it's crucial, right? YouTube does not work if they don't pay their creators.
Yep.
Like it's no one's gonna. develop anything for them without that. I mean, that's even something Facebook has struggled with, is like really creating an economy for their creators. And currently the economy for creators in Fortnite is, I don't think it's definitely not, it definitely has room for growth, especially when it comes to, because we've got creator codes, but Ninja saying, or Cypher PK saying use code Cypher PK in his video, you know, is one thing versus someone spent 1,000 hours making a map and
Hmm.
maybe it doesn't get featured,
Yep.
but or whatever, it gets a million plays, but people forget to push the creator code button or whatever, is a very different experience than Cypher PK's experience, right? So I think there definitely needs to be adjustments to that. And um, when you're creating content versus just marketing content, and um,
So
so
you're
that's gonna,
referring to like if I were to go on YouTube and watch a video and I watch an ad, that content creator gets a little bit of that revenue. Are you suggesting that like just the same is true as I create this really cool map and it's been played 5 million times?
yes,
I should have a stake in that content or
yes,
a
exactly.
little. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it should be based more off of plays or play time or something, versus, oh, this person, I was lucky enough that this person said, "Oh, I want to use mustard plays code in the item shop," and then they happen to buy a skin within the next two
Mhm.
weeks, right?
Right.
And like there is so much, like there's so many places for that to break down for content creators, and instead of that, and I think it's just saying, okay, what if we could, mustard plays can make his own spray or his own skin, even. I mean, skin's probably pushing it, but
Yeah.
you can get the mustard place spray or back bling, and he created it. It's his own thing. It fits within the parameters they've set, and it costs 5 V-bucks. And then with that, there's a split with Epic. Epic makes 50% of that, or what? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers, but like that is when it starts to get really interesting for creators, and people are going to be really invested in Fortnite creative, right? It's wow, I can make millions of dollars in this ecosystem, and so will Epic. Epic's gonna make as much as I'm making or more. And but that's when you're gonna start to see, okay, Laserbeam's coming back because he's just gonna invest in creative mode, because guess what? He can make 20 times what he's making right now if he's in there. Like there's just this economy idea of, you can sell your own skins, you can sell your own uh assets you've created. Like I create a spaceship, you can buy it, or I can give it to you for free. I can give it to the community for free. Like this kind of like sharing and of assets. I mean, basically, it already exists in the Unreal Engine. Like they have a
Yeah.
marketplace there where you can sell your own games, your own engines, your own assets. It already exists. It's just bringing it into creative mode and like having a fair split with the creators. I think that's when you're going to see a huge explosion in content, and then people willing also to spend money advertising that content and saying, hey, I could make $1 million off of this if I get 10 million people to play it, so I'm going to go and spend $100,000 to get 10 million people to play it, or whatever it is. And that's when Epic can just then sit back and like, we don't even have to do marketing anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so like I'm pumped up about the future we've created here. Let's put some let's get realistic. Like how far are we? Would you speculate from a reality like that? Like are we a decade out? Are we like 4 years out? Like Creative 2.0 is not going to be the thing that's going to save this or create this. How far out is this ideal vision that we've kind of created here?
Of a metaverse, or just like
The
having some
metaverse.
sort of, yeah, the metaverse I think is more like, it's a 10-20 year thing. I think when it comes to really like a YouTube of gaming, I think that's probably more like 4 or 5.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like a truly cohesive metaverse where everyone comes together and like yeah, we're a couple of decades away from that, but or I don't know, things move fast these days, but um yeah, I can't imagine that happening sooner than 10 years from now.
Yeah, which is interesting to think about. Like I think um, a lot of kids want to be on what's happening next, and it's really hard to be able to be like, yeah, 5 years. So start training, start getting creative and start using those tools. But I think there is a lot of truth to that. Like this is a crazy investment in the future of gaming, which Epic isn't going anywhere. They're really with the Epic Store. They've kind of expanded themselves with new ways for people to play games through them. I think I I purchased Battlefield 2042 through there, which I'm like, how does that even work? Like that's kind of crazy. So there's like this expansion happening, and it's very subtle, very slow, but it's consistent. It's consistent. More and more brands are starting to be a part of what's going on with Fortnite. We're seeing creative map makers make, epic maps for companies where you can
Yep.
go and explore in a whole new way. We're seeing that the latest music video experience that they had in Fortnite being fully advertised on the shop tab. Like the growth is insane. I guess the thing that I am worried about in all of this is retention of that massive pool of player.
Yep.
And so how do right now it's probably pretty easy to make a claim of like, hey, this is how many kids we got playing. What do you feel like the conversations are at the table of like, how do we keep people playing for the next 5 years until we get that going, right? Like we get that on like accessible to people. What's the roadmap? It can't be, oh, we'll just keep doing, another, we'll get Pokemon in finally, like that is sprinkled in there, but I don't think that should be the cool, the whole like plan. So what are your thoughts on like, how do you maintain that? What does that
Yeah.
look like to keep people playing VR or keep people playing something like it to where it doesn't tank and we lose like all of this progress we've made?
Well, I think that's where Creative 2.0 comes in, right? And I mean, Battle Royale, I still think as it currently exists in their current strategies and direction they've gone in the past number of years will keep people interested for a while
Yeah.
and will continue to do so for a while. I don't know what that means. Is that 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. But I think Creative 2.0 in the meantime, whenever that comes out, that's going to bring a lot of people back. That's going to open up a lot of opportunities to increase the player base and maintain the player base. I mean, it already is. Creative mode is already helping to maintain that player base, but every time they come out with a new update, there's something. It just opens up new possibilities. Now we can have really true race maps, or now we can save people's data. Like so, when they come into a map, they don't lose progress, and like so, like that is a huge thing to opening up all sorts of possibilities in maps and keeping people, helping people to come back. Like Fortnite has never even advertised creative mode outside of the Fortnite universe. Like it's been really nothing. And I think when they're ready to say, we have, I think it's coming soon. I think within the next year, creative mode is going to reach a point where you're going to really see a tip, like the tipping point happen with creative mode, where people are like, "Whoa, what is this?" And where has this been? Like, I haven't even known about this, and now it's gonna like, I think it's gonna bring a lot of people over from things like Roblox or things like Minecraft that are gonna be like, "Wow, this is like what I've always wanted." Not that those other games aren't amazing, but I feel like I think feel like creative mode and the modding in that space with the player base all combined is going to explode. And that's why I've spent so much time like investing in creative mode, because I feel like it is the future. And it's going to be it's going to be something like 70% of the plays are creative mode and 30% are battle royale. But
Right.
that's still like probably the same amount of people that are playing battle royale. Right? There's just going to be now 7 million people concurrently playing the game as opposed to 4 or 5 or whatever it is. And like I just think there's going to be an insane amount of growth in creative mode, and it's going to open up all sorts of opportunities for, the maybe Adidas couldn't get a deal in battle royale, so they got it in a creative map, right?
Right.
Or whatever. That is huge, and now getting 30 million plays a month or whatever it is. And so yeah, I think creative 2.0 is kind of like going to be maybe not right when it comes out, but I'd say soon thereafter, as people start to see what's truly capable with these tools, that's when we'll start to see some really, I don't know, that's going to retain people a lot. And then and then just the discoverability part of things is going to be important too. But
So
yeah, yeah,
I'm putting myself in the seat of a listener right now, and I'm thinking to myself, right, like we had Save the World, and then VR came out, everybody just went to VR. We got creative. You're making the claim that that could be the next big thing. Where does that confidence come from that it's the next big thing? Like because to a listener, they're like, so you can save, like like maybe they don't put, maybe they can't put that together. How can you have that
yeah.
enough confidence in 2.0 to where you're investing maybe a part of your career in it? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's about trends and mega trends, right? What is look at traditional markets. So the traditional markets that have dominated the space for the last 30 years, 40, whatever, is movies. Well, it used to be radio, and then it was, movies and TV, which killed radio, and and then we had the music industry. Then we had things like personal devices coming out. We got the iPod, MP3s, and then you see things like the smartphones, and now the most recent mega trends are social networks and things like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, etc., Snapchat, whatever. And the way things have turned in the last 10 to 15 years is based on tapping into the creativity of the world and not
Yeah.
individual geniuses, right? So in the 80s, we had people like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and and then recently we see people like, okay, we got JJ uh and Christopher Nolan, and okay, that's cool, but then it's like, well, what are people really talking about? They're starting to talk about the PewDiePies and the Markipliers and
Yeah.
the laser beams and the Lachlan's. Like that's where, I mean, gosh, the amount of views these guys get is more than the Super Bowl,
Right.
right? And like we talk about the Super Bowl as like the biggest thing that ever happens on television every year, but that happens every week on Laserbeam's channel or on Mr. Beast's one video,
Yep.
and it's like it's on a whole other level. And and video games is one of those things that it's had a very traditional market for a long time. And Fortnite is actually one of those things that's kind of changing that market. They were the
Mm.
first really big game to come out and say, we're free. And you can play it. You don't have to pay a dime to play our game and have the exact same experience that everyone else is having. You might not look like a banana running around, but you're going to have the exact same experience as someone else, free 90 free. And like, and they've made a killing doing that, right? Like that shook the industry, and now everyone else is saying, "Oh, we got a free game too. We're free. We're free."
Yeah.
And the ones that aren't, guess what? They're bombing. They're
Yep.
dying, and what's the next step, right? Is they figured out how to monetize a free game really effectively. Now, how can they tap into the world and get them to come in and monetize that with advertisers, with their own economy or whatever? And that's what I see is like that is whoever can, like I said already, whoever figures that out is going to make a killing. And I think Fortnite is going to figure it out. And when I see the little baby steps, a new save device, now we've got cars, or now we've got I don't know, creative 2.0 tools, like those are the little baby steps that are result into mega trends. And like I saw it when I was a kid, or when I was younger with cell phone or with the internet, because I'm old, guys.
Yeah.
I'm 38. Like I was raised when the internet came out. Internet came out in 1995 for everyone, and like that was my childhood. I remember playing Warcraft with my friend and being like, "What the heck is this? Like this is crazy." And like, and he was in his house, and I was in my house. And then it was like I got into college. No one had cell phones, but I was like, "Whoa, this cell phone game is going to change everything." And
Mm.
within 2 years, the world had completely changed into you could not survive without a cell phone. And I see it happening now is like the same thing that happened with social networks, Facebook or MySpace or whatever it was that came out. Like those things were just the beginning. And it was like, I remember getting on Facebook when it first came out. Only college users could use it. Only people that were in college. You had to have a college email to access Facebook. And I was in college at the time. And then it was like, oh, now we've opened it up to the world. And Facebook exploded. Same thing with YouTube. I saw it and was like, whoa, people can make their videos and you can watch anybody's videos on. And guess what? YouTube's now the one of the is the biggest website in the world, after Google, which owns YouTube. And so if video games is next, video games is the next one to really figure this out. And I feel like all of us, everyone listening here, including myself, we were raised with video games, and that is like our our one of our ways to self-express and to relax and to get out, even more so than movies or TV shows. And it's still just such a young industry that I see whoever, like I see it coming. And I think those of us who can really grab onto it are going to be riding one of the biggest waves this world has ever seen, right? It's going to be so fun. So what I'm saying is get into it. Like start learning to create, or even just learning to like enjoy other people's creations. Like you'll be shocked at how fun it is. And I don't know. That's the connection for me.
That's good.
Is it's just what I've seen in the past and what I see happening. At least I hope it does.
Yeah. That's incredibly like said. Like really, really cool. Yeah, I think like I have never seen a company like Epic Games. And people, like I've got family and friends, who are like, so you're a content, like they don't get the content creation piece at all. They don't see that because they're too busy looking at the old generation and how that stuff worked out.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are on their gaming systems. They are playing games. They are self-expressing, like you're saying, and we are more connected than we've ever been. But there is yet nothing, like we just allowed certain games to be able to play with each other across different consoles. Like we are beckoning on a new generation of how to connect with each other through games. And that question of like, I don't know how we can play Roblox and play Fortnite at the same time. We might not know that now, but it will be really cool to look back on this video, 10 years from now. Be like, oh, like, I mean, we see it with
Yeah.
Discord, right? Like people are just hanging out, doing their own thing, connected with their friends without having to do any work at all. Like it's just a natural thing. And so when I get like these people that look at you like, so Epic, you're still playing Fortnite, you're still it's like it's funny. It's almost comical to for people not to see like this progression, because we have been a part of video games. We've seen it since the beginning of playing, StarCraft, and like finally being able to play together, and then all of a sudden, like how interconnected it is now. Like
Yeah.
it's an exciting time to be in video games, and there's no better time than now to get involved with it,
Yeah.
especially if our hopes of this metaverse and Epic Games potentially like writing that vision. It could be big for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. I feel like Epic has vision, where I feel like a lot of other companies, not all of them, but a lot of the other gaming companies out there lack vision. They're
Yeah,
just trying to ride a wave that someone else created,
yeah,
as opposed to like pioneering something new and exciting. And so that's where I feel like Epic is really, they're probably five years ahead of most other companies. Like they're thinking way ahead. And the people that are thinking ahead are the ones that are going to be the apples of the future, right? That was Steve Jobs. He saw the future and he capitalized on it. I feel like Epic sees the future and they're going down that road. That doesn't mean they can't fumble the ball,
yeah.
but I think they have the vision.
And what they have is they have the willingness to try and experiment. Like I see this all the time with like a new concept in creative, or like they decide to do house party. They are investing in building the foundational pieces to make something work on it. Where you see other companies just choose to, only place safe bets. Where I feel like Epic Games is has the ability to, but also tries to take chances in order to push the future that they're hoping for as well, which
Yeah.
typically sets trends more than is being reactionary to somebody else's success.
Yep. No, absolutely. Now, I mean, Epic has made a lot of missteps along the way, and they're going to still make a lot of missteps, and it's going to
Yeah,
tick a lot of people off. And a lot of people come and go throughout the process, but I feel like Epic's invested in figuring it out. And even if they make huge mistakes, even a whole season that may have been a mistake or whatever, that's like,
yeah,
you know what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to make the adjustments. We're going to take the mech out of the game or whatever it is. And like, or the Infinity Blade, which was like a labor of love for someone like my brother, right? Is like that is, it was gone within a day, right? And like, that's okay. Is like,
yeah,
it's okay to make mistakes. And it's like, that's how it's this concept of failing forward, right? You fail and you progress and you become better. And I think Epic's committed to that. I think they are. I hope they can keep that going. They have been that in the last 4 years. I hope
yeah.
they can do it for the next 20.
I agree. Okay, this has been a great conversation. It's been so awesome having you on, man. I have a question for you that if I don't ask, we'll have dozens of people asking me why I didn't ask it. So I'm going to ask you. Uh, so for those that don't know or haven't heard yet, Donald Mustard is your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So what has that been like? Are like family gatherings like a nerdy spoiler spree? And if so, can I come next time?
uh, being the brother of Donald is the same now as it always has been. Donald, you asked earlier, like, who do I look up to?
Yeah.
Donald was one of those people, and he is my older brother. I have two older brothers. There's 7 kids in my family, and I'm the
Wow.
middle child. And I have 2 older brothers, and then 4 sisters. And my brothers have always been a great example to me of hard work, creativity, like not giving up and like not giving into the system that is out there in the world, and like just bucking trends and that kind of thing, like doing their thing. And that's one that they've both always done that. And Donald is has always been that since he was a kid, and in high school, and like in college, and his early career to all the way up through Fortnite now. Like he is bucking trends. I wish I could tell you the things that they're doing right now. There is some crazy stuff. And Like they're never sitting still, and that has been an example to me. And he's always
Mhm.
been that. So the Donald I talk to today is no different than the Donald I talked to when I was 7 years old, and um, and so it's not that different. It's just awesome being his brother because he is an inspiration of of constant ideas, and he's a beautiful person. And so family gatherings are crazy. Sometimes they are a complete spoiler
It's
nerd fests. When I sit down and talk to them, I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, well, there's this crazy thing. Like I was at one, we had like an adult like gathering where no kids allowed, and we went to some restaurant, and I was like, hey, what's going on? Like how's work? And he's like, dude, we're gonna have Alien come in and like Sigourney Weaver skin and all this stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, you gotta be kidding. Like he was telling me all the stuff that happened. I can't remember. Was that 2 seasons ago? And I was just like, this is crazy. Terminator. And like, and so yes, there are gatherings like that. But honestly, I would say most of the time it's just how's life? Like how are you? Like how are your kids? Like that is what's most important is family,
yeah.
and like what's reality, right? And Fortnite is not reality as much as it feels like it is sometimes. Um yeah, it's just being around him is an inspiration, and I've tried to emulate that in my life and like live up to that, and I haven't always done it, but I feel like I'm getting there. And so like that's what it's like being Donald's brother is it's a joy, and it's never like I could have taken it as something like I'm always living in Donald
Mm,
and my brother Jeremy's shadow,
right.
right? I'm always in their shadow. Like they're always doing something greater than me, or they're smarter than me, or they're more artistic than me, or whatever. But I've just never looked at it that way. I've always looked at it as an inspiration on like how I can become a better person. And I feel like that's been one of my strengths has been like I'm not going to live in their shadow. I'm going to bask in their shadow and their light, really is what it is bask in their light. And like, as opposed to thinking I'm living in their shadow. So I think that's what it's like being related to Donald and being so close to him. It is a constant inflow of goodness and light.
It speaks a lot to your character. Like I feel like sibling rivalry is a natural thing, and it's very easy to kind of, I think, in today's day and age, just to look at what other people have um, and look at what you don't in comparison. It's really cool to hear your perspective on that. I think that's a huge value to just family in general, to be able to celebrate the wins collectively as a family and to
Yeah.
be with each other through those things. That's really cool.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. No spoilers.
All right. Well, I've only got a few more questions for you. This is a segment that I like to call Your Fans, Not Mine, where I try to grab as many questions as possible from people in your socials. I also asked a few in mine, like, hey, what questions would you ask this guy if you were sitting in a room with him on the internet? And my first one that I loved, I went all the way back to your very first video of all time. 4 years ago, Will Welsh says, "Woo! This dude is gonna get really big, lol, really soon. Can't wait for the next video." What what does that look like? Hearing that comment from your first video ever.
Well, first of all, that's my nephew. Yeah, that's my nephew Will, who's now like he's such a smart kid. He knew it. He saw it too. Yeah, so that was my nephew. So that's the first thing. But I mean, honestly, that first ever video was I streamed. I started streaming first, and I streamed Overwatch. And I remember a content creator rated me on that stream. It was Bunny Girl was her name,
Mhm.
and I went from like 2 viewers, which was like me, my laptop, and my cell phone, to like 30 viewers or whatever. And then they stayed as I was playing through Overwatch, and I was terrible. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, that was probably one of the happiest I've ever been in my entire content creation career. I was just like nervous and like, And I just knew then, like, I have to keep this. I have to keep going, right? And I knew, like I said at the very beginning, I knew I was never going to give up. And I knew there was ups and downs, and it would be hard. And man, it's been hard. I've almost given up. I can't even count thousands of times.
Mm.
And like even today, video kind of bombed today, and I was just like, ugh, it's just like a punch to the gut. And it's like it's a hard journey, but I knew I'd never give up. I'd figure it out. And so yeah, no, it's fun to go back and look at the journey sometimes for sure.
Yeah, I feel like as a content creator myself, some of the best moments you can have and rhythms that you can create for yourself is to remember where you came from.
Yep.
'Cause I feel like it makes you more human, allows you to see the progress that you have made and celebrate more victories instead of seeing stuff as losses. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a really great comment, and I love that he's related.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oblivion 91218 asks, "What's the quadric formula?" Do you
The
happen to know?
quadratic formula?
Yeah, do you happen to know what that is?
Oh, I used to know. I took calculus in a college, and that was one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. I'm not a mathematician, but man, I hated that class. So I'm going to say no.
I just love some of the questions we get on socials. It's just one of my favorite things, just
But-
highlighting all the interesting things.
I should say, don't hate math. Math is what runs Fortnite, right?
True.
It's the mathematicians and the computer scientists out there that are making everything you play and love and do. So if you're into math, don't feel like you're a nerd. Like embrace the quadratic formula.
Double down on it.
Yes.
Okay, so a kid named Earto asks, "What's the best type of mustard for a sandwich?"
It depends on the sandwich. I mean, there's the classic yellow is great on like a hot dog or something. But my favorite mustard, I would say, out of all the mustards, is honey mustard. I love honey mustard.
Honey's great. McDoodle YouTube asks, "What's your favorite anime? And can I get a yeehaw?"
Yeah. I would probably say my favorite. Oh, that's a hard one. There's so many good ones, but I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That one like grabbed me. That's such a good one.
So good. Chris Unusual 23 asks, "If Peely was never a skin, what would you have as your main?"
Oh man, that's a really hard one. Before, honestly, my favorite skin that's not Peely, I'd probably still say is I love the Black Knight from season 1.
Mhm.
And like I love knights and shining armor, castles and stuff, which is unfortunate. Sometimes whenever I use a castle in my thumbnails, it always underperforms. I don't know what it is. Kids these days don't like castles. But like I would love to like I love castles and I love knights and shining armor, and the Black Knight has always been cool to me.
That's great. Frog Lover Joseph asks, "Does Donald come to you for ideas and or inspiration?"
I wouldn't say he comes to me for ideas, but he does listen to my ideas when I have them, and I bring them to him. Like if we're at a family thing and I'm like, hey, you should really do this thing. Like I've told the story before, like Battle Royale was one of those things that I went to both Donald and Jeremy at a family function. I was like, you've got to do this. And Donald was like, I've been thinking about it for a while. You're right. We're going to get a team on this. And that was like 3 weeks later, they had the first Battle Royale island, like
Wow.
kind of specced out. So he listens. He's a very smart and he has a ton of ideas himself, but also one of his great strengths is his humility to listen to other people and say, you're right. Let's do it. And he'll make it happen. Right. So yeah, no, he listens.
So without you, we wouldn't have Fortnite.
That's right. No, we wouldn't be talking. Just kidding. No, it would have happened eventually, but I think it just kind of like was a little bit of a kick in the butt to be like, let's get moving. And he's like, you're right.
10 Skinny Boy asks, "Have you ever been to Epic HQ? And has Donald told you any inside info about Fortnite lately? Also, would you buy a Peely Batman skin?"
Yes, of course. I'll buy all the Peely skins. I have never actually been to Epic HQ. It is in North Carolina, and I live in Utah. But there is an Epic office in Utah where Donald works out of as well. He lives close to me. So I've been to that office many times, but I've actually never been to Epic headquarters. Although I've been to Raleigh where it is, I just didn't go by the office then because I was doing other things for my other business. So, but yeah, no, I've never been.
And then any insider
Oh,
information lately?
yeah, I can't say anything about it, but yeah, sorry.
What if you could say something about it?
If I could say something about it,
What would you say if you could?
if I said I would say it, but
Would it be awesome if you said it? Like, the thing that you would say would it be awesome?
it would be awesome.
So we're gonna have some awesome stuff in the future. You heard it here first.
Yes, you'll be getting awesome stuff.
And the last question is from the Squatting Dog.
That guy's crazy.
What is a secret you can share, or one you could get away with telling us if you could?
You just asked that question.
No, somebody else asked that question, but the Squatting Dog at the Squatting Dog also is interested, apparently.
I can tell you, I'm working on a huge project that is going to make some waves, I think, by the end of next month. So look out for that.
Okay. And if we were interested in making sure we were going to receive that as quick as humanly possible, how would somebody who is listening do that?
Yeah, just follow my YouTube channel or go subscribe
on YouTube. Okay,
Yep.
Subscribe to his YouTube channel. We need to get that doubled by the end of next month. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Chad. I really appreciate you being on this and saying yes to this. I know podcasts, you never know how they're going to go. But I really, really, this has been one of my favorite interviews, getting to know you. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with your audience, our audience, or shout out?
No, I mean, just thanks for having me on. It was really fun. Thanks to everyone that was listening. And I ramble. I tend to ramble. That's why I do YouTube videos, so I can edit it down into a consumable piece as opposed to me just rambling forever. But thanks to my community too. I love them. They're amazing. Like the community out there is so awesome. And we hear a lot about this toxic side of Fortnite, which it exists,
Yeah.
but and it's crazy. But I feel like the creative community in general, when there's sometimes there's drama, but generally the creative community is just the salt of the earth. They're like super good, awesome people, and I feel like generally the Fortnite community is like that as well. So keep on keeping on, guys. Like you guys are awesome. And I appreciate that everyone out there has made it so I can make YouTube videos and like watches me. I still don't get it. Like, why do people watch me? I don't know, but I'm grateful that they do. And yeah, so thanks for having me on. It was really fun.
Yeah, of course. And if you are trying to get involved in creative, I think what Chad's saying is really true. Every time I try to create something and I'm like, I don't know how to do this, there's usually like 100 creative people that are like, oh, have you tried this? Oh, hey, add me on. I'm like, you guys are everyone is so kind and so nice. And it's become so like hard to create a map in the sense of like creating your vision into reality. That a lot of people that are experts in it have been helping people do that. And so if you want to get involved in those types of things, I know you have a Discord, right? That people can check out and get involved with and get to know some people. And there's tons of other Discords out there that you can get involved with. So research those as well. Is there any that you would recommend off your head, Chad?
Yeah, so mine's good, but also just there's a Fortnite creative Discord that is really good. And I would say get into those first. And then there are some other communities that will embrace you as you grow as a creator. And like there's some really great communities out there. So yeah, just get mine's a little bit bigger sometimes and it can be a little bit unruly. And the Fortnite creative is a little bit more, but you'll find some awesome friends there if you're willing to learn and like be friendly with each other. Like you'll make friends that'll last forever. Like I've already done that, and it's like I have some awesome friends I've never even met. I mean, that's the joy of online gaming. is the friends you'll make that you may never even meet in your life, but they'll become like lifelong friends. So yeah, this is a great community to be a part of. If you want to be a part of something cool, this is the one.
That's awesome. All right, everyone, that's it for today. If you haven't already, please rate this podcast and follow our Twitter with all the details we talked about in this podcast. I'm going to shout out his YouTube if you're looking for that there as well. So yeah, if you're interested in anything Mustard Plays related, I'll try to link all of those on our Twitter. This is Squatingdog signing off. See you later, nerds. Bye-bye.